As I shared earlier, I'm Jo, and I'll be facilitating this session today. I'm also a feminist researcher and activist, and have dabbled in the field of social innovation and startup myself in my earlier career. Later today, we will be joined by the brilliant social innovator Chandni, who is a Rising Star Ambassador at Wedu and the founder of I Am Impact United Global to share her experience. But before that, I'd love to ask everyone in this room. We think this question is such a fitting theme for the event happening this week. We'd love to know who has been a catalyst to you. So if you can think about a time where someone showed up for you in a way that transformed an outcome in your leadership journey, it could be just a small action or completely transformative one. I'd love to know. Feel free to write on chat, but you can also raise your hand if you'd like to share any experience that really is striking to you. Hi, Lonnie. Thank you for raising your hand. Yes, I'd love to hear who has been a catalyst to you.
Hi, Joe. Hi, everybody. I'm Avni. I'm based in Bangalore. It's really nice to be here. I'm really excited for this session. So I have an interesting take on this. I've had a lot of people that have been a catalyst who taught me what not to do as a leader, especially as a female leader. I've run a few women's only communities, especially based in India, and I experienced a lot of toxicity earlier on in my career, which taught me how to be a more inclusive, understanding, and empathetic leader. And so I actually sometimes offer gratitude to those people too, because they taught me to be very intentional about the way that I show up. And so, not all experiences are wonderful, but they can teach us how we want to be and the types of leaders that we want to be. So I wanted to share that as well.
Thanks for sharing that, Ivani. That's such an interesting take because bad experience are quite catalytic as well. And they do, I think, well, later we'll talk about this, but especially as women leaders, sometimes those bad experiences are more exponential for us and can be a learning experience. Thank you for that. I think there are a few chats. Welcome, everyone. Oh, that's so lovely to hear, Divya. I'm glad to hear that your dad was so important in your leadership journey. And I'm asking this question because that we do for us catalytic action, or the act of showing up for women leaders, is what we call allyship. And it's such a huge driving force behind our work. So I wanted to quickly introduce you to our organization, Wedu. We envision a world where half of all leaders are women. We mainly nurture and invest in women's purposeful leadership journey, like Avani shared earlier, intentional leadership journeys, and mobilize allies and communities towards alternative futures where women leaders thrive. And I want to call your attention, especially on the word alternative futures, which is going to be a topic and activity that we'll be diving into today. So far, in our first decade, we have reached women leaders from 29 countries in Asia, and we now have over 5,000 women changemakers actively making an impact towards their communities and amongst each other. So, our definition of allyship, our current working definition, is that allyship is the active, consistent, and arduous practice of unlearning and reevaluating, in which a person holding privilege and systemic power seeks to show up in solidarity with a group of people who are structurally excluded. For today's context, we want to focus on like how do we show up in solidarity given our current power, given our current privileges to women in the social innovation space in all of their intersectionalities. And in the 10 years that we worked at Women's Leadership, we saw one very impactful program make its way into our women community leaders. And that's through mentorship. So I'm going to play a video to let you know more about it. And then we'll have our Wedu Rising Star ambassador speak more about her experiences at mentorship at Wedu.
At Wedu, we have a clear vision, a world where half of all leaders are women. We close the gender leadership gap by nurturing the unique leadership journeys of women across Asia who have world-changing aspirations. And we mobilize gender equity allies to support them.
Mentoring makes me a better athlete.
My mentor makes me a better future-ready social impact leader.
My mentor has made me a better social entrepreneur and community builder.
My mentor makes me a better advocate for my communities.
Throughout our first decade, we've seen over and over again that mentoring is the most sustainable way to support women whose ambitions extend far into the future. Our multi-generational community of volunteer mentors has grown to over 1,000 people who represent more than 90 nationalities and work in diverse careers, from science and technology to social impact, business, and law.
I am Pascuala.
My name is Ngọc. I'm from Vietnam.
I'm Snowgirl Rupa. You can call me Snow.
Hi, my name is Patrick Ponsaton.
I am Carly Tang. I'm from Canada.
After going through a screening process, mentors who demonstrate a shared commitment to our vision are matched with women across Asia who have leadership aspirations. From engineers in Nepal developing inclusive artificial intelligence, to civil servants in Cambodia improving access to clean water, to early career health workers supporting first-time mothers in Southeast Asia. Their leadership actions are changing the world, and our mentors are right beside them, providing timely and practical support that sustains these women's efforts and strengthens their capabilities.
I like so much the way they teach me how to solve the problem. I am a medical officer. I have a family. I must to manage well the time. And I feel very happy when I found my mentor.
It's really hard because we just not only receive the judgment from our families, but we also don't have any resources. So it's really necessary and important to find a mentor to guide us.
It just shifted many of my perspectives, and I tend to do a lot of more than I can handle. But Carly reminded me that I also have to take care of myself.
Mentorship pairs are guided with a bespoke curriculum anchored on Wedu's leadership model and are supported by our mentorship team and a global community of fellow mentors. No two mentoring experiences are the same. Mentors bring their unique skills, style, and expertise to the process, personalizing Wedu's leadership curriculum to cater to their mentees' goals. Mentorship cycles run for 8 months and can be extended, enabling mentors and mentees to create more impact together and build supportive relationships that often outlive the program.
We're learning together as well, and I think that our conversations have informed what I do as well on a professional level. I've gained so much from this experience, and I'm so lucky to have you as a mentee and as a friend.
Just to be able to encourage and inspire other people and other young women to take that step into becoming a leader, and that can mean so many things.
Nobody gets where they are by themselves. We all got to where we are because of other people. I have a mentor myself. How can you not pay that forward, give it back?
Rise with us to close the gender leadership gap.
There you go. I hope that glimpse into our mentorship program gave you an idea of what allyship means that we do. And later on, we'll explore what would it look like for us to take allyship actions in our own spheres of influence.
At Wedu, we have a clear vision.
Sorry. There you go. So I'll walk you through and explain what we'll go through in a bit. So when we initially designed this event, we wanted it to look like a hackathon that's grounded in a design thinking process that I'm sure most, if not all, attendees here in this call are very familiar with already, which is the double diamond design process. So it starts by understanding the problem, trying to go wide and understand all relevant problems as possible, picking a problem and identifying specific issue and coming up with solutions. Since we have a little under an hour only together, for today, we wanted to focus on what we think is the most important part of this design thinking process. And that's the discover or the empathy phase. For today, we will go through this discovery and empathy process, embedding it with the feminist values of intersectionality, inclusion, and reflexivity or active reflection. So we encourage you to approach today with open minds and deep engagement. And just to ground us with a quote that I think is going to be relevant is before we even try to solve systems issues, we need to fall in love with the problem, not the solution. And I'm so incredibly excited to introduce you to Chadmi Dingra, a Wedu Rising Star and Ambassador, and the founder of I Am Impact United Global. So I'll stop sharing my screen so you can have a look at her, and I'll.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chani, founder of I Am Impact United Global. Our platform, Impact Actualization Management, is a carefully crafted solution designed to meet the needs and empower everyday individuals who are eager to contribute their time and presence to uplift those who wish to be uplifted but lack readily accessible tools to effectively make a difference in areas where it is most needed. Our vision is a world where every individual feels empowered to make a difference, where communities thrive on the collective efforts of empowered change makers, and where positive change becomes a universal norm. At I Am Impact United, we envision a future where upliftment and empowerment are at the forefront of global consciousness, creating a more equitable and sustainable world for generations to come. I'm excited to share with you my journey as a social innovator, the challenges I have encountered along the way, and the support I believe is essential for women in this field. So, how did my journey begin? My journey into social innovation was sparked by witnessing the seamless transition of my twins, then in kindergarten, to online schooling during the pandemic, supported by technology and resources. This experience made me ponder the stark disparities in educational access globally, driving me to act. I imagine a world where every child, every parent, regardless of their background, could have the same opportunities. Later that week, my mom connected me with a girl named Palak from my ancestral village in India. She was in 6th grade. The disparity was stark. She had difficulty grasping basic concepts like subtraction. After talking to her, I realized I could easily offer her 1 to 2 hours a week. With my mom's help, we created sub goals for her, such as nouns, subtraction, volume. I then invited my friends to help by picking a sub goal and offering their time and presence to Palak. Many came forward and they added, "Hey, I can also teach her dance. I can teach her baking. I can teach her sketching." Volunteers from 6 countries were eager to contribute their time, presence, and knowledge to uplift her. Later, we connected with an orphanage and adopted the same strategy, aligning our catalysts' availability with the children's need to achieve the sub goals. We realized that we were making an impact on their lives and enriching ours. Motivated by this success, we extended our initiatives to remote areas in Ladakh and Assam in India, further amplifying our positive impact. So, the challenges I encountered in social innovation. Logistical challenges. Coordinating efforts across different time zones and cultures presented significant challenges. Aligning the availability of our catalysts with the need of learners required meticulous planning. Cultural and systematic barriers. Working in grassroots environments, especially in rural India, I encountered entrenched societal norms and systematic barriers that limit educational opportunities, particularly for girls. These norms foster dependency rather than empowerment, complicating our mission. Volunteer engagement. Maintaining the enthusiasm and commitment of volunteers over time is very challenging. While the mantra, Together We Can, is inspiring, it does not fully encapsulate the complexities of human interactions. We realize that empowered people can empower others. This realization has become central to our approach at I Am Impact United and permeates every interaction on our platform. Impact measurement. Assessing the real impact of our initiatives and navigating the disappointment when results did not meet expectations posed significant challenges. Each setback had to be analyzed and addressed to refine our strategies continually. I also had personal challenges in social innovation. My journey started with a strong belief in making the world fairer and focusing on the transformative what if instead of complacency in what is. Just as the world thirsts for transformation, my own life yearned for release. Charity was norm, but I wanted to empower and nurture capabilities, like teaching someone to fish rather than giving them fish. I aimed to raise awareness about how we are all connected and should coexist harmoniously. I found myself without mentors in the realm of social impact, in a world without relatable or approachable role models. My journey of leading social impact initiative, being a mother to twins, became very, very challenging. It was taking an emotional toll, deviating from its original intent. Recognizing the need for a shift, I took a strategic pause to rethink and recalibrate. This break was crucial as it became apparent that something was missing, something vital that I could not yet identify. This internal struggle is one of the most daunting challenges a social innovator can face. So, how did I thrive? I discovered the Introduction to Leadership course by Wedu. Registering for it was a wonderful decision I took. It soon became my journey towards self reflection, growth, and empowerment. I delved deep into my inner world, penning down my ikigai and crafting a letter to my future self. The process triggered a profound shift, freeing up space within me. The structured framework, step by step process, and unwavering support from Vidu kept me motivated and on track, and it showed me the path. As I completed Vidu's Introduction to Leadership, I was amazed at how beautifully it unearthed my hidden leadership qualities and at the same time provided clarity. I fell in love with its holistic approach. During this course, I connected with other women who shared similar.
Oops, sorry, Chani, you're on mute. For about 5 seconds.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, all better.
I'm sorry. I must have accidentally pressed something. So I'm going to start from here then. During this course, I connected with other women who shared similar experiences. It felt like joining a tribe with common goals and shared challenges, creating a supportive ecosystem that fostered growth. Vidu matched me with a mentor. I am incredibly fortunate to find an exceptional mentor who truly understands my vision and committed to mentoring me each week. Under his guidance and mentorship, I'm thriving and also embracing my authentic self. The right mentorship for someone genuinely connected and knowledgeable is transformative. I feel the support needed for women in social innovations are, from my experience, I have identified three crucial areas of support that can empower women in social innovation. First is robust mentorship. Access to experienced mentors who can offer not just strategic guidance but also emotional support. Second, strong community networks. A supportive network that understands the unique challenges faced by women and offers a platform for sharing resources, solutions, and encouragement. Connecting with other women through Wedu has been instrumental in fostering a sense of community and shared purpose. Resources. Third, resources for resilience. Training and resources specifically geared towards building emotional and professional resilience. Social innovation can be draining, and having access to tools that address burnout and promote well-being is very crucial. While the challenges are significant, with the right support, women can overcome these barriers and lead transformative changes in society. We absolutely have within us to be the change we wish to see in this world. Thank you for this opportunity to share my journey.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Tanya, for sharing your experience, not just a woman social innovator, but as a woman leader and as a mother yourself. And I hope everyone was able to get inspiration from Chani's story, not just about how the struggles that women social innovators face. I think there's a bit of an irony there where women social innovators work towards improving the lives of others, but many times at the expense of their own well-being because of the challenges Chani shared. But she did share a few support systems that help her thrive herself. And I hope our attendees here are able to glean on that. So I'm going to dive into our next activity now, which will explore more into a different approach into discovering more about the issues that women social innovators face that inhibit them from fully thriving. So I'll share my screen right now and let me know, everyone, if you can see this. Maybe a thumbs up over. Okay, all good. Thank you, everyone. So before I jump into the next activity, exploring more challenges that women social innovators face, I want to call this quote from futurist Jim Dieter that any useful statement about the future should at first seem ridiculous. In a current ecosystem where we're so bound down by scarcity mindset within limited resources, before we even begin to imagine better systems, to create better systems, we must first reimagine it. So this activity is called flipped realities. I'll share Google Slides linked on the chat in a bit while, but I'll share the instructions for now. So as a group, we will write down 100 facts that are true about women's leadership today, specifically in the field of social innovation, on these gray Post-it notes. So I've added an example here. So 43% of women social entrepreneurs are burnt out compared to only 31% of men at their level. So after you plug in these facts, I want you to flip these and rewrite each one to be the exact opposite of what it is today on the green Post-it beside it. So if this is the fact that is true today, the flipped fact is that 31% of women social entrepreneurs are burnt out compared to only 43% of men at their level. So I do want to highlight that the point of this exercise is not to highlight to reverse the current gender inequalities, like women are more disadvantaged and the opposite is men being at disadvantage. That's not the case. The point is, if you feel observed or outraged by the fact that in a flipped reality, men would be more at a disadvantage, we should be outraged today because this is the reality that women face. So I'm going to share that Google Slides link now and give everyone 15 minutes to share it. Thank you, Cindy, for already doing that. And if you have any questions now, before I give everyone about like 10 minutes or so, do let me know over chat or feel free to raise your hand. And our 15 minutes is up. Thank you everyone for adding in your flip realities, but I do understand that 15 minutes is not nearly enough to capture the so many experiences that women face in the social innovation sector and women leaders in general. So I'm going to share my screen again to show our flip realities slide. And I hope that everyone has been able to read through, I think, about the almost 20 flip realities that we've done. And if you can unmute yourselves or share over chat, what common intersecting themes are you seeing from these facts and realities? Or what do you think is missing that you think is really important when it comes to the experiences that women leaders face? Also, as a principle of feminist research, embedding it in the design thinking process is active reflexivity or active reflection throughout the process. So maybe if any themes aren't surfacing at the moment, maybe you can share any takeaway that you've had from flipping these realities. Maybe I can volunteer someone who's a familiar face in the crowd. Maybe Dan Soy. Can you maybe you can share any reflection you've had during this activity?
Yeah, hi Joe. Hi everyone. Good evening from the Philippines. Um, I think I'm gonna share my takeaway from this. I was actually enjoying the exercise but I'm really sad with the inequalities that women are experiencing in all aspects of life, not just in at home, but also in terms of leadership opportunities, educational opportunities, and labor opportunities. And I think women are really deprived of their life, liberty, and property, which is a very important thing to be afforded to women. So that's it, Joe, from my perspective as a man.
No, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. As I shared earlier in the event, today's event is all about allyship, and I think your perspectives on that really grounds our unifying theme together. Thanks for sharing that, Dan. So for the next about 3 minutes, you'll see that on your right, the screen on your right, we have purple post-it notes. So I invite you to add your name to that post-it note, similar to this. So I'm Cho, and I am from the Philippines, so I'll just abbreviate it like this. And identify a flip reality that you would commit to learning more about after today's session. So for example, I saw one that really struck me that someone added is that only 17% of female employees hold company stock options compared to almost 1/4 of male employees, which is the opposite reality is that more than 80% of female employees own company stock, which has transformative impact on their leadership journeys and on their retirement. So I will add, but I would love to learn more about that and maybe research and explore solutions that can help towards the ambition. So I'll give everyone a couple of minutes to add their name to a post-it note and move it towards the flip reality. Thanks for adding that, Ima. That is definitely a fact that women face today. And if you find yourself leaning into more than one flip reality, feel free to add more post-it notes because the systems we face in are complex and we don't it takes a systems approach to address systems. So absolutely feel free to plug in your name into more flip realities. I'll give everyone 30 seconds more. I am seeing some names on the right. Feel free to move it to the section which you want to learn more about or you want to dive deeper into. And this is one concrete way of actioning what we've explored today. Or maybe if it's not here, maybe if it's something that Chutney shared earlier in her experience sharing, you can also include that as a post-it note, maybe on slide number 5 and add a segment here that really struck with me. All right, I'm seeing more and more post-it notes coming through. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in this activity. I'll go back to our main slideshow now, but if you feel like you want to learn, add more facts and flip realities, you are more than welcome to use this Google slide. It remains open to everyone in perpetuity until the day that Google Slides is no longer functional or existing. Feel free to keep plugging into those. I love that there are more and more post-it notes about care work. Definitely one of the biggest and most under discussed challenges that women face. Yeah. Just share my screen again. So as we close, I know that one of the call to actions that I shared earlier is to dive deeper into the challenges that women social innovators face. But directly after this one, here are some allyship actions that you can take to show up for fellow women leaders or other women leaders in your own spheres of influence. These are allyship actions that we've seen our community show up at Wedu. Listen actively, recognize and acknowledge your privileges, respect others' lived experiences, like the one Chani shared earlier. Be open to learning, more importantly, unlearning and relearning, and provide unconditional solidarity. And understand that allyship is standing beside women leaders, not in front of. So I'd like everyone to scan this code here or go to menti.com and type this code 11787754. And this link will also be shared on the chat. There you go. And then please share one commitment you leave today to become a better ally for women social innovators based on what you've heard, based on what you've explored through the flip realities exercise. So I'll spend about 15 seconds more on this slide and then I'll share our Mentimeter. So we have one response about learning more about what challenges they're facing and ask them how I can show up for them and provide practical support. I love that this commitment centers the women leaders in your life and doesn't impose a solution. Listening to women's ideas. So thank you for sharing that. To serve as a tool in amplifying the voices of women. Beautiful. Maybe let's wait for a couple more. Be unconditionally supportive, even if someone is making a choice I wouldn't make. That is true agency. This is such a fascinating answer, but one that is truly transformative. And I think this goes back to something that Avani shared earlier, is that she actually learned from more bad experiences than from, I suppose, for the lack of a better framing, the mistakes of others in her leadership journey. And looking for ally mentoring opportunities. I love this statement and I will end it here. But if you have any other commitments, feel free to continue plugging it here. But I think this is a fantastic segue into our next, into our closing call to actions, which is to join a movement and allyship, because you can't be an ally in isolation. So any of the challenges that were brought up today, we invite you to ideate with the Wedu community by joining us as a mentor. So you can sign up to be a mentor at Wedu, which is a link that we'll share on chat. Or if it's something that you feel like you're not ready for a much larger commitment at the moment, you can also make a donation at Wedu. For any questions at all, you can write to communications@weduglobal.org. And I do want to recognize that I do see some Wedu mentors in the room, like Dev. Hello. Thank you for joining us in today's event. And we just want to close by saying thank you for joining us. And I hope that this is only the start of a conversation on how we can co-create systems where women social innovators don't just survive, but truly thrive. So let's thrive together. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.